Hello and welcome to ELBC Newsline, a full hour of news from Liberia and other parts of the world. Today is Wednesday, December 17, 2025. My name is Fabian. We are presenting, and these are our top stories. Nigerian 41 arrested with huge quantity of drugs worth over 31 million Liberian dollars in Sunny Nina County. Press Union of Liberia distances itself from Liberia Broadcast Media Awards, calls it a gambling fraud. United States government commits to historical ties with Liberia ahead of Christmas, away from whom Rwanda-backed M23 rebels have not withdrawn from the eastern Congolese town of Rivera despite an announcement earlier this week. These stories and much more, including sports, the weather report, the news in Liberian, English, and French. But first, great sound in the news bulletin.
The Liberian Drug Enforcement Agency (LDA) has arrested a Nigerian national Vitalis Obieze, age 41, at the Fanikoli checkpoint. The suspect was apprehended during a random search while en route from the Ivory Coast to Monrovia when the officers discovered 6 parcels containing tablets of a suspected controlled substance. The test conducted on the seized tablets had confirmed it to be methamphetamine. The seized 3,000 tablets street value is estimated at 180,000 United States dollars and over 31 million Liberian dollars. The suspect is currently being detained at an LDA Ganta office for further investigation and will be forwarded to court for trial in keeping with the law. The LDA remains committed to preventing the trafficking and distribution of illicit drugs across Liberia. The Press Union of Liberia (PUL) has distanced itself from the Liberia Broadcast Media Awards, organized by a group identified as Liberia Broadcasters Association. In an official statement, the PUL said the group lacks the mandate and legitimacy to confer awards upon broadcast journalists and media institutions in Liberia. PUL President Julius Kanuba described the move as irregular and misleading to the public and media community.
Mass credibility of journalism because they don't have the requisite credibility to award journalists and media institutions. We don't want to commercialize award. We've seen that they took, for instance, some of our members. They took photos of these members. Even those members are not even aware. So what they've been doing, they've been selling these images of people.
Mr. Kanba also condemned the organizers, led by Ricky Jiplo, for introducing a paid voting scheme via the TechMe platform, which effectively commercializes the awards processes. He warned that such scheme constitutes gambling fraud and will be subject to a formal investigation. The PO president reaffirmed the union's commitment to upholding journalistic integrity and warned that any attempt to undermine the union or commercialize journalistic recognition will be met with decisive action. The United States Embassy has recounted the enduring partnership between Liberia and the U.S. According to the U.S. Embassy, such partnership is grounded in mutual respect, people-to-people ties, and cooperation that make both nations stronger, safer, and more prosperous. The Embassy statement marks the holiday season with a display of its Christmas tree, joining communities across Liberia in a time of reflection, goodwill, and shared values. This week, it said, as Liberia marked the lighting of the national Christmas tree at the Executive Mansion, the U.S., the diplomatic and historic ties between both nations will continue to grow from strength to strength. The government has reacted to reports from some political actors and media that the Mano River Union Center for Regional Peace and Development being constructed in Lofa County as a private property. In a statement issued Tuesday, the government clarified that the center is a public project owned by the state. The facility is intended to host high-level sub-regional, regional, and international summits, conferences, and dialogues focused on mediation, conflict resolution, and fostering economic collaboration. Government argues that sharing detailed blueprints and security layout of the facility designed to host regional and global leaders while it is under construction is impractical. The statement quotes the government as saying the recent unauthorized drone footage had demonstrated the very security risks the protocols aim to mitigate. UNICEF Liberia Country Program has launched its convergence approach to implement different projects from 2026 to 2030 across the country. The program is targeting five of Liberia's 15 counties, including Montserrado, Benbassa, Revoses, Granjide, and Wapolo counties. Speaking Tuesday in Monrovia at the Internal Affairs Ministry, UNICEF County Representative Andrew Brooks said the projects are major contributors to the fulfillment of government's arrest agenda.
That in Liberia, the level of vulnerability of the people, in the case of UNICEF, the level of vulnerability of the children is so much higher than the available resources to address it. So you always have this deficit. So you need to make good decisions.
Mr. Brooks disclosed that it seeks to address children education across the five counties and to look at some outcomes of vulnerabilities in other areas. The gathering brought together representatives from the five counties and the Internal Affairs Ministry. In a related development, Wapolo County Superintendent Sam Zina has termed the project as a worthwhile initiative that seeks to buttress the education of Liberian children. Mr. Zina said the project will provide children with necessary abilities to prepare them to take up leadership role in the future. He urged selected counties of the UNICEF Liberia Country Program to make maximum use to help the vulnerable have access to education. The Council of Chiefs of Liberia has pledged support to the Office of the Establishment of the One Economic Crimes Court in Liberia. The Council said the court will play a critical role in giving justice to victims and promoting national healing. Council Chairman Actor Doa thanked Councillor Jala Bapu, Executive Director of the Office for War and Economic Crimes Court, for engaging citizens across the country on the significance of the court. Chairman Doa said the country's safety depends on the decisions and laws the court will implement. The pledge was made during a visit by the council to the office, where members met officials and discussed the role of traditional leaders in supporting the court. Meanwhile, the executive director of the Office for the Establishment of the One Economic Crimes Court, Councillor Jalabapu, has promised to submit the final draft of the One Economic Crimes Court and anti-corruption draft to President Joseph Boakai. Councillor Bapu said once passed into law, the draft will serve as a deterrent against corruption in Liberia. He added that the legal instruments meet international standards and can withstand any evaluation. The executive director thanked members of the Council of Chiefs and the Ministry of Internal Affairs for their support towards the office. The National Food Assistance Agency has donated assorted food items to two institutions of the blind in Montserrado County. The institutions are the United Blind Association of Liberia and the Liberia Blind Association for Rehabilitation. NFAA Director General Waka Salif said government is committed to meeting the food needs of the vulnerable populations across the country.
So we are here today. There's a young lady in the States. Her name is Peterlyn Morris. On her behalf, she and her company is Staff NK. They sell medical things. But every time we do this, she see it on the internet. She buys. Let me tell you that. So what we're seeing here is we brought this, ain't not much, but they say later is much. God is in
Mr. Salif stated that the donation was made possible by the philanthropist Peterlyn Morris and CEO of Top NK Medical Supply in the United States. Meanwhile, heads of the benefiting institutions have lauded the NFAA and partners, describing the donation as timely for the festive season. The Public Works Ministry has launched its 5-year strategic plan. The plan is aimed at enhancing road construction throughout the country. Speaking at the launch ceremony in Monrovia, Public Works Minister Roland Giddens disclosed that about 485 kilometers of roads are expected to be constructed for the next 5 years. According to Minister Giddens, the ministry has already completed 7 kilometers of roads across the country over the last few months.
We set out to do 485 kilometers of paved road in the next 5 years, but we ongoing 700 kilometers already. So that's the goal at Person Element I'm talking about. I'd like to take this time also to say thanks to my team.
The Public Works Minister commended the employees of the ministry for their level of cooperation, urging them to work more in order to connect the rest of the country by roads. In a related development, National Identification Registry Executive Director Andrew Peters says the entity's 5-year strategic plan provides a clear vision to building a modern, secure, and citizen-centered identification system. Mr. Peters noted that the plan focuses on universal coverage, digital identification, modernization, governance, and institutional capacity. According to him, the plan seeks to strengthen sustainable financing and partnership. The NIR boss spoke at the opening of a one-day validation of a 5-year strategic plan in Monrovia on Wednesday. The chairman of the National Human Trafficking Task Force, Labour Minister Councillor Kokokura, has called for a nationwide collective initiative to combat human trafficking. According to Minister Kura, trafficking in person remains a persistent crime that undermines human dignity, social justice, and development. Speaking Wednesday at a 2-day long program in Congo Town, he reaffirmed the government's commitment to combating trafficking in person through policy reforms and institutional strengthening, among others. Minister Kuran noted that the ministry will continue working towards preventing trafficking, prosecuting perpetrators, and strengthening partnerships. He also said Liberia Immigration Service Commissioner General Rufus Paul reaffirmed his commitment to ensuring the fight against trafficking in person is intensified. Commissioner Paul said over the period, the list has been fully involved with intercepting multiple activities leading to trafficking in persons. The West African Bar Association has expressed concern about the rising cases of breach of democratic governance in the sub-region, especially for the last few weeks. The unlawful disruptions of democratic governance, according to WABA, represent a grave violation of the rule of law, an assault on constitutional authority, and a dangerous threat to regional stability. In a statement issued on Wednesday, signed by its acting president, Councillor Bonavama, the West African Bar Association said the situations in Guinea-Bissau and Benin are concerns that must be taken seriously. He condemned as sham the military takeover orchestrated by Guinea-Bissau President Umaru Embalo Sissoko. The West African Bar Association, meanwhile, reiterates that any power seizure or attempt to seize power through unconstitutional means is unacceptable and will not be tolerated. And the annual retreat of the Female Journalists Association of Liberia, FIJAL, is expected to commence this Thursday in Monrovia. The retreat is centered on sharing experiences, highlighting achievements and challenges, among others. FIJAL's president, Lisa Dicey, said the retreat is also part of the association's effort in fostering a more inclusive media for female journalists across the country.
So the entire retreat is geared towards us overarching our own goals, thinking about where we've come from, talking about our challenges, and making sure that we can track a new path for 2026 and beyond.
Madam Dicey disclosed that the retreat is bringing together female journalists from the 15 counties. She made a disclosure on the Super Morning Show Wednesday.
Great Star in the News Bulletin, one of the